Hi, I'm Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company, and you're down at the Underground Meadery. Okay, so we've doing 52 meads in a year. We've got a good start going. The last one you saw was a dark Pyment. We made a concord grape Pyment. We're going to use a white grape Pyment or green grapes. If you're going to juice green grapes, make sure you filter everything out. Try to leave just a little peel behind so you get residual colors and flavors from the peels. But if you're juicing, make sure you try to get as clean and pure as possible, or you're going to have a jug full of pulp. Very hard to separate when you're done. One reason why we're using juices, I was messaged and the guy says, "How come we're not seeing you use some juice down some grapes?" You'll see that later on, but what I'm trying to do is show you the basics of the different types of meads. So far, we did a traditional, we did a sizer, we did a concord Pyment. Now we're going to do a white Pyment, which is basically white grapes or green grapes. So we've done a dark grape, and now we're going to do a green grape. Basically all the same principle, but if we're going to make a mead, we should start having a mead. This is our stone fruit that we made. It's cherries and plums. Very nice. It's got good color. Look at that. It's got a good clarity to it. So this is a good mead to start off with. So here's to you, drinking a really good mead. All right, on a race starting off measure, we're going to be using good value green grapes. You can probably get this at the dollar store. The more expensive you go, the more better the product turns out. But this is just green grapes from the dollar store that we're going to be using. As you can see, this one has some out of it because I ran it through our coffee pot to get the temperature up to dissolve our honey. Remember, we want all the residual honey that we can get. So we've got a gallon of white green grapes. We've got 2.5 pounds of AB Friendly Company honey. We have our gallon jug fermenter. We'll be using our balloon airlock. Red Star Premier Blanc yellow pack yeast. Test vial. Hydrometer for potential alcohol. Temperature to see if we can drop our yeast immediately. Our pen so we can write down our date, starting gravities. Pair of scissors to open up our yeast. And my Rolodex. One reason why I do all the cards is that way I can go back through of all the cards and index cards we got. They're alphabetical order, and there's red grape, white, green grape right here. So I'll put all these back. Right, now I don't have to write down all the stuff. I just got to write the new date on the back. So I've got white green grape, gallon of white green grapes, 2.5 pounds of clover honey, the year Pyment Blanc, and everything else is ready to go. So it's all right here. So on the back of this one, we'll just write a new date. Okay, now we're all set to go with our recipe. This helps you track like the date that you started it, so you know when, every 12 hours the yeast grows, reproduces. So if you're doing vacuuming or degassing or adding nutrients, that's one reason why you put your starting times and your dates on. When we get really high tech with this and we start really checking it like every 12 hours, I mean, sometimes at the middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, you might have to degas if you want to get that technical. We'll get into that a lot later. But right now, what we're going to try to do is we're going to add our honey to the jug. Remember to keep the lids for your jugs, that way you can shake them up. All right, give yourself a pour and then pull up. That way you don't get an air bubble on the top of your jug. You'll have a huge mess. Look at that, nice flowing. Now remember, if your honey doesn't flow like this, get a saucepan, boil the water. When the water gets to boil, turn it off. Take your lid off your container, of your honey and set it in there. It'll take the crystallization right back to liquid without killing the enzymes in your honey. All right, remember to just turn and lift. You won't get any honey or any spillage anywhere on your thing. Remember, we want all the honey out of our container. So, right, I'm going to pour about a cup of my heated up white grape juice. I'll put the lid on this container. Remember, if they're plastic, give them a little squeeze before you put the lid on, because with the hot water added with the sugar, they pop right back up. Right? If you didn't do that, when you pop off the lid, it's going to blow back at you. All right, so now we've got the honey all dissolved in the jug. I am going to add the rest of this hot grape juice to the jug so we can dissolve the honey inside the 1 gallon container. All right, I'll put my lid on. There it goes. We'll get all the honey dissolved in the grape juice for this Pyment. Look at that. No honey, all mixed in. Let's go ahead and add our grape juice. Sounds like we got someone wanting to tune in. All right. We got 1 jug of white grape juice in, or green grapes. I like to put my lid back on and give that a little mix too. All right. Look at that, huh? All right. So now we've got our green grape juice inside our jug. Let's take all of our measurements and our readings and fill out our sheet. Now on my sheet, it says the starting gravity of this should be at 1.120. Let's see if we've got the same amount again. Now remember to leave a little bit of room for your hydrometer to sit in there. Don't fill it all the way to the top. The hydrometer is a tool that we're going to be using to see our potential alcohol reading. This will tell us about approximately how much alcohol we'll be making. So we'll put that in there and give that a spin. What that does is it throws all the foam bubbles off the reading so I can get a good increment. When you're looking at your hydrometer, right, it's going to be a straight level. The liquid actually drops and goes in for a concave unit because as we fill the thing, it makes concave and not convex. So we're looking at the top unit for the alcohol level. This says 1.130. That's about 17% alcohol. That's pretty good. Put that on the back of the card. right, so we got that. Let's take a temperature reading and let's see if the temperature is at a temperature that we could drop the yeast in. Remember, I like my temperatures between 65 or 68 and 78 degrees. What happens is check your yeast packets that you're using. Remember, we're using the Red Star Premier Blanc yellow pack. If you contact Red Star, let them know that we're using it, that we'd love them to sponsor us. So that's pretty good. So let's see what the temperature is here. We're at 76. So that's just under what I really, really prefer, but it's above the 75 mark that I like. So let's go ahead and add our yeast. Now this is called a dry drop yeast. We're not making a start or anything. We're just dropping it dry right in. Super easy. Now I'm going to take my hydrometer out. I'm going to pour that back in, and that'll help mix the yeast up. In there. And then we'll just top off the top just a little bit. There we go. Now we've got it all done. We'll put our airlock on. The reason you put an airlock on is so anything that's ambient outside will not get in our jug and affect the yeast starter that we just put in. People are asking me, why am I using a balloon and not a traditional airlock? If you ever had one of these explode, the airlock goes over here and all your residual stuff goes all over your floor. This expands and holds everything. If it pops off, you won't have anything on your ground. You just have a balloon full of crap. So it makes it a lot easier. I like using the balloons a lot more than I do the airlocks. And when they blow up, man, it looks a lot better than seeing the bubbling thing. My opinion, a lot of people like the airlocks for blow-offs and to help them to do some vacuuming to get the carbonation and stuff out of it when they go to bottle. But that's it. Super easy. I'm Michael Jordan with the Underground Meadery, AB Friendly Company. Please share this. Learn to make a great product. We're glad that you tuned in here at our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in.